Alright guys, back to another episode of Wright, Ace Attorney, Trials and Tribulations. And last time, we did our last setup and investigation before the moment of trial awaits us in the district court. And yeah, we got to finally see the truth of our very eyes with this info we got. Of Dahlia Hawthorne, Iris, including Pearly as well. So, whatever it takes, we're gonna make this game as fun as it is to the very end. Anyway, good morning. Oh, are you by yourself? Morning, Pearlies. Mr. Nick, please tell me what's going to happen to Mystic Maya. We don't know what's going to happen to Mystic Maya. We need to know more. I'm sorry. We don't know yet. Investigation is still ongoing. So I wasn't allowed into the inner temple. Oh, I see. So is this just Iris still trying to remove these trick locks from the training hall? No. She's the defendant in this case. So she can't be at the inner temple. She's required to be in court. Then, how come she's not here in the defendant's lobby? I have to admit, it's kind of strange. We're looking for Iris. She's in the prosecutor's office. Edgeworth? Man, what's Iris doing over there? She is going over today's testimony with the prosecutor as we speak. Today's testimony? You heard me. Iris is going to be testifying as a witness for the prosecution. Wait, what? Prosecution is squeezing her for a confession. Or so I've heard. Francisca von Karma. What are you up to? I know what you're thinking, but Francisca isn't going to be the prosecutor today. Nani? It's Godot. Then who? I think it's pretty obvious. Who else would it be but Godot? Godot. Francisca is engaged in some important work at the Sacred Cavern. Sacred Cavern? You don't mean that she's... Exactly. She has been out there all night trying to remove those trick locks. With the head nun's assistance, naturally. We estimate that the last of the locks should be taken care of in about 3 hours. I hope everything continues to go smoothly and receive some good news soon. Yeah. Thanks, Edgeworth. Prosecution Godot intends to nail this case shut today. Be prepared to fight like there's no tomorrow. You don't have to tell me all that. Touché. I could already see it in your eyes. You're not the same fever-ridden, frantic maniac that you were yesterday. It's kind of strange. On the way I decided that today would be the end of all this. Almost immediately after I made that decision, I felt myself getting kind of stronger. Interesting. Maybe you passed your code on to someone else. Literally. And with that, I leave the rest in your capable hands, partner. God damn, this game is great at storytelling. Thanks. The writing will never stay old. I still don't have many answers for the riddles of plaguing this case. The flying thing is still bothering me, kinda. The circumstances around the murder of Elise Dukesnim, Miss Misty Faye. The problem is, how did the murder happen? And why did it take place over near the inner temple? The impossible flight Larry claims to have seen. And those eyes, what that woman really is after. I will solve them all and bring this whole tragedy to an end. Let's do this. Court is now in session for the trial of Iris of Hazakura Temple. Oh, the old judge is back, Cape Baldy. Your Honor. What are you... Oh, me? Well, my little brother came to visit me in my chambers earlier this morning. All of a sudden, in the blink of an eye, he developed a scorching fever and fainted. How convenient. Therefore, I'll be standing in for him. I see, Your Honor. So they're brothers. That explains a lot. I hope they're not talking about me or something like that, okay? My poor brother, he looked like a bit pale. Not to mention, sad that he couldn't be here. Oh god. Keep drinking your damn coffee. It's impossible to predict what the future has in store for any of us. This is precisely why people feel the need to judge the past. We of the court have been charged with the solemn duty of passing such judgment. Well said, Mr. Godot. I understand exactly what you said, or at least up until the end anyway. Now then, Mr. Godot, please proceed with your opening statement. Humans are fragile, fickle beings. Our hearts change with the shifting of the tides. There's only one thing that remains a constant in this crazy world. It is the bitter darkness that lies at the bottom of this mug. So then you mean... forget it? What do you mean? I don't understand anything at all. During yesterday's trial, the accused refused to admit her role in the crime. But today, she has had a change of heart. Sister Iris of Hazakura Temple has a confession to... What? The confession? The defendant? Iris, why didn't you discuss this with me first? Because she's acting more sus than ever. Very well. This court will now hear the defendant's confession. Upon meeting a beautiful lady, always ask for her name and confession. That's one of my rules. My name is Iris. I am but a simple nun undergoing training at Hazakura Temple. Witness, is there something you want to confess to? Yes, but first, I want to apologize to Mr. Wright. I can't continue lying to everyone anymore. It's alright. What is it? Mr. Wright, I have to admit that I did play a part in this terrible incident. Are you actually confessing? Are you saying that you were the one who murdered Miss Elise Stuxnem? No, I'm not, Your Honor. Accomplice? But I dealt with the cover-up after the murder took place. After her spirit left, I took the lifeless shell of Mystic Elise and carried it to the Hazakura Temple courtyard where I desecrated it. What? Nani? Order in the court! Order! Witness, are you saying you were an accomplice to the murder? Yes, that's correct. This seems a bit off right now, but we need some testimony. NANI?! 3 minutes in the court and I'm already covered in a cold sweat. Huh. Everyone in the planet is an accomplice to something. It just happens to be that, in this case, it's to murder. Isn't that right, Mr. Trite? Dakado. So this is the confession they were conferring about. Pains me to say this, but it looks like Iris's testimony was all a lie. Iris's tape was crumpled up and shoved into a pocket. Now then, little lady, if you don't mind, I've got a question for you. I mean, that testimony has been a lie this whole time when we talked about those Cyclocks. Whose crime were you trying to cover up by your actions? Iris is covering for someone? Now I'm definitely up the creek without a paddle or a life jacket. I've been at Hazakura Temple ever since I was a little girl. Hazakura Temple is run by one of the branch families of the Korean tradition. One of our missions is to protect the main family. I'm sorry, but main family? Yes, that's why I would dirty myself, if need be, to protect her. The daughter of the master of the Korean channeling technique. Mystic Mane Faye. Huh? Wake up and smell the coffee, Mr. Trite. She's naming... Maya?! Order in the court! So not only do you not witness the murder, but you know the name of the murderer. I'm terribly sorry, but it's true. I saw her commit the crime with my very own eyes, and then I cleaned up the area to try to protect her. Hold up a second. That's ridiculous. Maya can never do so. The defense will refrain from commenting until the appropriate time. Now, witness, let's hear your testimony. Oh my god, this is already off to a bad start. Very rough start as it is, huh? What exactly happened the night of the crime? Yes, Your Honor. I thought I was prepared for the unexpected, but I never imagined this case would end up going in this direction. Alright, time for some witness testimony. I went to the inner temple that night. I saw it all happen in the garden. I saw Mystic Elise strike Mystic Maya with her staff. While Mystic Maya was still stumbling, Mystic Elise moved in to deliver a fatal strike. Mystic Maya tried to just defend herself and stole the weapon. It was only in self-defense. You can't blame her for it. Huh? So it was self-defense? Yes, Mystic Elise was the one who attacked first. Why would she attack first, though? That's why I tried my best to protect Mystic Maya. You moved the victim's body to the temple so that Maya wouldn't be suspected. Isn't that right? Not bad. You got our true instincts of a true criminal. Something's not quite right. I'm sure it was established yesterday that Iris never went to the inner temple that night. And that person who did go was that woman. Iris even admitted it. Now then, Mr. Wright, please proceed with your cross-examination. There's a bunch of liars going around here, obviously. So we're gonna have to figure out the contradiction. Well, there is a lot of contradictions. Sister Iris, your testimony has changed quite a bit since yesterday. You stated yesterday that on the night of the murder, you didn't go to the inner temple.
Objection!
Did she now? Too bad for you. What she said yesterday didn't mean much today. By the way, where were you? Were you when she claimed that she didn't go?
It was in the inner temple's training hall.
A private conversation between the two of you does not constitute testimony. That would be properly described as hearsay. What do you have to say, witness?
I just couldn't tell him the truth at that time. Mystic Maya. She's your girlfriend, is she? No! Huh? I didn't want to be the one to break it to you that I saw her commit murder.
There. We all understand how difficult it is for you. Now then, let's continue with the testimony. What did you do to witness in the What did you witness in the temple garden?
Well, Your Honor. There's no way Elise would attack Maya with the staff. You're saying that the victim attacked Maya, Miss Faye. Yes, it was truly frightening scene. Mystic Maya was struck hard on the head and looked like she was about to collapse. What were you doing at that time? Why didn't you stop them from fighting? I'm terribly sorry, Mr. Wright. I was very frightened. I couldn't move. I couldn't even speak. I was in such shock.
That's perfectly understandable, my dear.
This does not sound right. I don't believe this testimony for a minute.
What happened after that?
She moved in to deliver a fatal strike? Yes, I'm sure of it. She threw down her staff and reached into her robe for a weapon. Wait a minute. What was this weapon? It was some kind of dagger. A dagger, huh? And Elise Dixon tried to stab her with this weapon? To kill Miss Faye? Yes, exactly.
Huh.
Shit. We know what the weapon is.
You looked like I did after I mistakenly took a swig of Worcestershire sauce.
I can't even speak that word properly.
Huh. Do you have a problem with that testimony we're hearing from your client, lawyer boy?
Do I have a problem with Iris's testimony? Iris is my client. I better not press her too hard. Defense has no objection to Miss Iris's testimony.
Huh. You should try some nice sweet cafe con leche at least once, try it.
Very well, let's continue with the testimony. I don't want to press it too hard yet. What happened to Miss Faye when she was attacked by the victim? And then, Sigma, she turned things around and then she used the weapon she had taken and lunged forward for a strike.
Witness, are you absolutely certain?
Yes, but believe me, she had no choice. If Mystic Maya hadn't done something,
Maya Faye's name would have been written on this autopsy report instead. Yes, I see.
this is bad. I still can't put the pieces together. Despite a contradiction in her testimony, Maya's going to be blamed for this. I only have this thing to say. So you're saying Maya Faye was the one who stabbed Miss Elise Duxnim? Sister Iris, is that really what you saw? Yes.
Objection!
Trite. If your mug is filled with black and bitter suspicions, the only way to get rid of them is to drink them down quick. Like this!
I know what that's supposed to be a metaphor, but I don't get it.
There's only one thing you need to get, Trite. It's called evidence. Now hurry up, and before my next cup gets cold.
What does that even mean? Is Godotto waiting for me to point out the contradictions? I'd like to avoid the whole spirit channeling thing if I can. Not only would it be admissible as evidence, but I think it might actually hurt our standing with the judge. First, I need to pick her testimony apart to expose the unnatural sounding parts. I don't know why Iris would tell a story like this, but there are only two things that I know just don't add up. I'm gonna save the game because this may be the last trial that we might lose a lot of HP, and I'm trying to prepare for that. I think it's time to press this. There we go, let's bring up the weapon. There is one thing. Your Honor, I have a small problem with the witness's testimony.
You do? But this is your own client.
Yes, well, nevertheless.
That's fine. Witness, you will add your last statement to your testimony.
Yes, sir.
Hey, just a moment. It's my job to say that. Listen, Gramps. I won't say it again. Final judgment will be rendered by me. Ugh! Okay, now, let's continue.
She drew her staff and pulled a dagger from inside her robe. Okay, I think it's the last phrase that we gotta... She threw her staff away? Miss Elise is trying to kill Mystic... Wait, that's a flaw. That is a flaw. I think that's why she wanted a more lethal weapon.
It's true, it's not easy to inflict a deadly blow with a staff.
Sister Iris, let me make sure I got this straight. The victim herself chooses to throw away her staff? Yes, that's what I saw.
Is there anything odd about that, Mr. Wright?
Yeah, it's odd, alright. Mystic Mass attacked Mystic Maya with a dagger. I'm sure of this. Oh, you mean this staff? The one that was known by me and Gumshoe? Sister Iris, there's something strange about your version of events. Huh? Miss Duxim throwing her staff away makes no sense at all to me. But y'all can all do with a staff is hit someone. Naturally, you wouldn't notice, Miss Sister Iris, but the victim's staff had a special feature about it. As you can see, it's a sword. If Elise Duxim really had wanted to kill Maya Faye, she wouldn't have needed to use a separate dagger. Not when she already had a beautiful blade in her hands already. Well, Sister Iris, What do you have to say? Hi.
Objection.
Oh, he knew? He knew.
That was an impressive bit of investigating, Mr. Trite. I never would have thought there was a sword hidden in that staff. But even so, how should I put this?
There's no blood.
A long sword is unwieldy and thus quite ineffective in close quarters combat. Maybe that's why she chose a dagger over her blade.
Well...
Anyway, the type of weapon she chose to use isn't what's important. The important thing is that she tried to kill Maya Fey. As long as there's nothing strange about that, there's nothing wrong with her testimony.
But there is something strange about this whole testimony.
Well, Mr. Wright, the prosecution has a point.
Very well, Your Honor. The defense will present evidence back its argument. Mr. Wright, I have here another piece of evidence that shows that this testimony can't be trusted. These sneaks will never take the life of Maya Fey. This one, right? Misty Fey. Elise Dixon would never have to attack Maya Fey. How can you be so sure? Because the victim's real name was not Elise Dixon. Her real name was Misty Fey.
Fey?
No. Not Misty Fey. Mystic Misty Fey.
Who is Misty Fey? Is she related to?
Misty Fey is the master of the Korean channeling technique. She is also the mother of Maya Fey.
Are you serious?
Is it really true, Mr. Wright? Was Elise Dixon actually the great mystic Misty? There is no doubt about it. It looked like Iris had no idea. I can hardly believe it. The idea that she would try to kill her only daughter, that she had not seen in 17 years. Perhaps the prosecution can offer some explanation why she would do such a thing. Gah!
Order in the court! Upon first hearing the witness's testimony, it seems very natural enough. However, in the light of some facts that can be just been presented. One, that the victim supposedly threw away a sword during the fight. And two, that the two people battling to their death were their mother and daughter, despite the facts being believable when taken on their own. When taken together, the entire story seems difficult to believe. Listen, there's nothing in the world that is impossible, except for one little thing. Oh yes, what's this one little impossible thing? Huh, you still don't get it. You think that maybe my veins are under-roasted, but you have no idea, Gramps.
Can you get to your damn point already?
I heard this witness's confession this morning, just as I had taken the first sip of my 8th cup of morning coffee. You're going to ruin your health, my friend. Anyway, after hearing this woman's confession, I had a detective who loved to investigate the sent to the scene of the crime. And he discovered this little beauty.
What is this? What is this? A knife with blood?
Is that the dagger the witness testified to seeing? Obviously, Your Honor. But do you not notice something else? Now that you mention it, look closely, there appears to be blood on it.
Where did you find that? I didn't even see that when you investigated the crime scene.
Did you investigate the pine tree at the crime scene?
Huh? A pine tree?
This dagger was stuck in the backside of the pine tree. When the last blow was struck, the iron in the violent battle between the two women. This little baby was drawn in the direction of the back of the pine tree.
How?
Which means the blood on this dagger belongs to the victim, correct? Huh. Were you even listening, old man? I first heard this confession this morning, just as I had taken the first sip of my 13th morning coffee.
Didn't you literally just say it was a few minutes ago?
I didn't have enough time to get the blood analyzed for such short notice. In any case, the court will accept the dagger as evidence. Furthermore, I ordered out a blood test before immediately. This is my sweetheart. Make sure you treat her right. Bailiff, get this piece of evidence to the crime lab for testing immediately. Oh, a dagger. Shit. That's not good. Now then, the testimony we've just heard had numerous unbelievable aspects to it. However, after having found the very dagger the witness spoke of, I believe we can consider our testimony to be credible. Shit. Another testimony then. Cute girls never lie. Ever. Fucking Godot, that's how people get police banned. Anyway, in any case, witness, would you please testify to this court again? About what, Your Honor? About the incident you saw, the battle between the two women. Yes, Your Honor. Second testimony, the battle. Maya stumbled briefly upon being hit over the head with the staff, and then she dodged Mystic Elise's next attack and stole her weapon. Suddenly, Mystic Maya was the one on the defensive with her back to the stone lantern. Are they really recreating a scene like this, bruh? That's when Mystic Maya stabbed Mystic Elise and managed to fling away the knife away, but then she collapsed. That was a very heartbreaking story. I don't know if there were any bad feelings between them, but there's something off with that because of the statue. It had been 17 years since Mystic Maya's disappearance. Perhaps they simply didn't recognize each other anymore. That seems reasonable. Alright, now then, Mr. Wright, proceed with your cross-examination. Yeah, that whole testimony is so flawed. Even the crime scene would be so, like, confused why. Iris, where were you standing when you witnessed all this? What do you mean? Well, if either of them had noticed you, they might not have continued their battle. I wonder if that's true. The two of them, they were standing near the garden stone lantern. I was watching the whole thing from behind. It was dark when the two of them were, so... I think that's why they didn't see me. So it was dark in the garden when the murder took place. Tell me, what did Miss Maya Fey do after she was struck?
What happened to the victim's staff then? I'm not sure. The area is so dark so I couldn't really see. I think he got knocked over away somewhere as the fight escalated.
That makes sense. What would explain for the need for the dagger?
Mystic Elise raised the dagger to strike, but Mystic Maya dodged to the very last second. The dagger struck the lantern and fell to the ground. And then at some point, Mystic Maya picked it up. Nothing sounds especially strange yet.
What did the victim do when the weapon was stolen from her?
You're saying that Maya Fey turned the tables on the victim? Yes. There'd be a big flaw to this because of the statue. But Mystic Maya wasn't herself at the time. After all, her life was in danger. I still cannot believe it. The idea of Maya cornering someone with knife point is just silly.
As they say, a cornered fox is more dangerous than a jackal.
I believe the correct description of a cornered fox is scared and petrified.
Your animal analogies have grown tiresome.
You're the one who started it.
Anyway, so after Maya Fey backed the victim to the stone lantern, what happened next?
Are you absolutely certain about that's what you saw? Yes, I'm almost certain. Almost. The garden was dark. I couldn't really tell who was who. What did you So in other words, it could have been someone else entirely.
Objection.
We all know that Maya Fey was at the Inner Temple that night, and that the woman that was killed was Elise Dukesim. Isn't that fairly obvious who attacked who?
Ugh. I don't have anything to counter that yet.
Well then, witness, please continue with your testimony.
Yes, Your Honor. Two of them faced for each other for a moment. Then Mystic Wright rushed straight into Mystic Elise. Then Mystic Elise doubled over and fell to the ground.
So she was stabbed in the stomach, huh?
Yes. Collapsed, huh? This makes no sense. Where did the dagger go? I have no idea. It was dark and I couldn't see.
According to the detective, we found the dagger. It was stuck into the pine tree in the garden. Most like it was flung towards the tree after the struggle. That is certainly the most likely explanation, yes.
After being stabbed in the stomach, did the victim collapse right away? Now that I think a bit, she seemed to stare at Mystic Maya for a while. And Mystic Maya stood there, not moving an inch. It felt for a moment like time had just stopped. But then I suddenly, as if the spell had worn off, Mystic Elise fell over. It seems like a reasonable story at first, but there's one thing that is completely impossible. The very idea of Maya stabbing someone is completely irrelevant. And that alone is impossible, which means this faulty testimony must contain another contradiction in it somewhere. I think I'm gonna present something. It has to be the statue. I think it has something to do with these two, right? First off, I want to see, yeah, it makes no sense, obviously. The talisman is very sus, but which phrase is it, though? Maybe something else is sus. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. I feel like this is the flaw. This is the flaw right now. I think if you stab Mystic Elise... No! Yeah, that's the problem. You were stabbed from the back. Okay, that's the flaw. The autopsy report. Something about what you said just isn't right today, Iris. Huh? Until now, I didn't even think you were the type to make such a careless mistake. But however, the testimony you just gave contains quite a few contradictions. I can't even speak right now. Now, what do you mean? What's so wrong about my testimony? According to you, Maya Face stabbed the victim while her back was to the stone lantern, correct? Yes, that's right. But in that case, the victim would have been stabbed in the stomach, right?
Oh, yes, I think so.
But according to the autopsy reports, the cause of death was due to a blood loss from a stab wound in her back. This proves that the victim was stabbed from behind, not from the front. Sister Iris, it appears another seed of doubt has sprouted from your testimony. Iris, why are you lying? Iris is continuously lying. Something is sus right now.
What? What is the meaning of this, Mr. Wright? It's simple. People are like books. We've all got a front and a back, you get my drift?
No, we don't.
Is that all you have to say? I can also say that darkness loves to play with the human mind.
Fucking A. Can you please fucking knock it off with the cheesy proverbs and illogical metaphors already? The point is too much for this testimony, just doesn't make any sense. Throwing away a useful staff that people fighting being mother and daughter. And now she falsely claims that the victim was stabbed in the stomach.
There are certainly some inconsistencies, after all.
Well, Iris, how about it? Well, it's just...
If you ask me, you're being too naive about the whole thing.
I don't know about that. What do you mean? Can you stop drinking your fucking coffee?
There are 253 distinct types of bitterness in coffee. To pick on each one requires total concentration and the use of all the senses. Were you really concentrating on what this witness actually said? Prosecutor Godot, please explain yourself. The witness was quite ambiguous about her own ambiguities when she said that the garden was dark and she couldn't see clearly.
Oh no.
A human needs one thing to see clearly, and that is light. Light. By the way, did you know Hazakura has a rule that on nights when an acolyte is in the interchangeable training, the stone lantern in the garden must be kept lit.
I did wonder what that stone lantern was there for.
Oh, that's true. Shouldn't the witness have been able to see the crime more clearly? Normally, yes, Your Honor. But according to the head nun, Mrs. Bikini, on the night of the crime, it's impossible to light that stone lantern.
Impossible?
It hadn't been used in a very long time, and the wick was no good. In other words, it had been nearly pitch black in the garden that night. There could have been a faint light coming from the training hall, but that's all. Most enlightening! Yes, that illuminating fact has chased all the contradictions away. If the staff was dropped, it would be difficult to see. It also explains why they didn't recognize each other. And you can't see the demons that lurk in the night. That's why humans are weak. Isn't that right, Trite?
You're human too, you idiot! No!
Order! 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 Here, Your Honor. Let me present the stone lantern as evidence. Maybe rekindle the flame of truth in your mind.
The stone lantern is evidence. Was not lit during the night of crime. Even has the Maya thing. Why is the judge just sitting there with a look on his face?
What's wrong, Your Honor? Was that flame too hot? The stone lantern, there's something written on it. Huh? Why? It's written in blood.
Oh boy. Yeah. Wait, Godot doesn't know about it? So the judge didn't know about that yet.
Written in blood. Since when? I didn't know about that. Uh-oh. It says Maya upside down. Nani? What the fuck?
Yes, that's right.
What the fuck is this? This was not part of my plan.
After being cornered and stabbed by Mystic Maya, Mystic Elise didn't fall down right away. She must have been writing down the stone lantern behind her. The blood that was draining out of her body. This isn't some Danganronpa shit with 11037. I bet this was inspired by that shit, to be honest. This is 11037 all over again.
It certainly looks that way.
Objection!
I object to this. Wait, hang on just a minute. Wait, I would like to rescind this evidence back at once. What are you talking about? What do you mean? What are we all talking about? It's pretty obvious there, no?
We're talking about the message written in blood.
Nonsense. This lantern is as clean as a whistle.
Could it be? He can't see the bloody writing at all? Now that I think about it, he did say something to me yesterday. His eyes are pretty messed up. So that's what he meant by that.
In any case, this is obviously an important clue. We now know that the crime scene was dark, and that the victim scrawled this message on the stone lantern. Well, Mr. Godot, anything further?
He really doesn't see.
Mr. Godot. I have no words. Okay then, let's move on.
I bet this was not part of his plan. Godot was literally shaking, and somehow I don't think it's from caffeine overdose.
I believe it now has been established that Miss Duxton was killed by Maya Fey.
That's just wrong.
Now it's time to turn our attention to you.
Yes, sir.
After the victim died, you did something, didn't you?
Is it the motorcycle? It's the snowmobile.
Let's hear it. We're all ears.
The cover-up. After Mystic Elise died, I called out to Mystic Maya. I thought it was my duty to protect the future master of Korean tradition. So I removed the body from the inner temple by myself. I dragged it behind me all the way across Dusky Bridge. And then I used the snowmobile to carry it back to Hazakura Temple and... it did the deed. I used the Shishishita to alter the way the wound looked.